How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a 6-speed garage bass like BK298. We're going to be using Vital to make this bass. Here's a preview of what you're going to be making. Great, so let's get straight into it and look at the MIDI. So we're in the key of G sharp minor, and we're actually starting on D sharp as the sort of root. And yeah, as you can see, the MIDI is quite complicated. It's all over the place, but in a good way, obviously. Yeah, it's sort of built on this sort of rhythm here, and then the notes obviously quite scattered. And this obviously follows that same rhythm. And then has this extra note at the end on the second bar, which is quite common. Then obviously what they've done is spread the notes about, and we're going from D up to G, down to the same, obviously G, but down an octave. So yeah, obviously if you want to copy this, feel free. But yeah, I guess if you were trying to make something like this yourself, I'd obviously get the vocal in first and then build the bass line around the vocal. That's generally what I do, rather than trying to fit a vocal to a bass line. It always works a little bit better if you're fitting the bass line to the vocal. So yeah, now let's get into the sound itself. It's actually a preset from my Speed Garage Volume 1 Vital pack. The pack has over 60 of the sickest Speed Garage presets for making Speed Garage, like Interplanetary Criminal, Soul Mass Transit System, Notion, Bush Baby, and many, many others. So yeah, definitely check that out. The link for that is in the description. Great, so what we're gonna do first is initiate the preset. So if you come up here, menu, initialize, then we're gonna turn on both of these, pitch them both down by 24 semitones, which is 2 octaves. So 24, it's gonna sound like this. Fucking awful. But we're then gonna work our magic. So we're gonna go over here, go to factory, and we want basic shapes, and select that for both basic shapes. And we want a square wave. So this, in case you don't know, is a sine wave. It's gonna sound like this. Sort of what you made like an 808 bass and sort of like belly sounds. Then next you've got a triangle, which is basically that, but a little bit more sort of distorted. Then we've got a saw wave, sort of like a bread and butter, probably the most popularly used waveform. Then we've got this square, which I'd say is probably number 2. Cool, and once you've got that, we need to detune them. So let's go plus 32 on the first, minus 32 on the second. As you can hear, we're already getting there. We're going to turn this filter on. So this method of synthesizing is called subtractive. So essentially you're starting with a really loud sort of waveform or like sound, and then you're using a filter like this one to sort of manipulate that sound and get the frequencies that you're after. So when you're working with bass, it's always sort of going to be the low frequencies. And if you're working with sort of leads, you're going to be manipulating the sort of like high end. So yeah, we make sure both of these filters are going to filter 2. So we need to route them. So filter 2, and then this one's already filter 2. And then, as you can hear, there's nothing moving this, so it just sounds quite stagnant. So what we're going to do is use envelope 2 and drag that onto the frequency cutoff here. Then we're going to use this we're going to use this ASDR filter, whatever it's called, Attack, K, Sustain, Release, ADSR. To use that sort of like plucky sound. So let's drag that down, and then let's drag that a little bit less. This way it's giving more of like a pluck. So let's just drag that long so the decay is a little bit longer. Can even add a bit of sustain. It's always good as well to listen to the track and hear how it fits in with like the drums and stuff. Well, I kind of like it there. We can maybe add a little bit more high end. So if we bring up this, hover above this, bring that up, it's gonna like pluck up more, so let it more high end. I mean, yeah, that sounds pretty good to me, to be honest. So we're pretty much 80% of the way there. We're now going to spice it up with some effects. Obviously, if you want, you can adjust this to your own taste. You can grab a macro maybe, put that on there, and then let in more high end. So yeah, let's now go over to the effects and let's add maybe a chorus. Basically makes it wider. Obviously that's way too much. Let's bring that down to maybe 15%. It's always good to A and B, so keep it on, turn it off. Maybe 18%. We can then add a nice reverb. Bring that mix down. So yeah, I'm not too big a fan of that reverb, so I'm just going to leave that off for now. We can always add our own later. Gonna grab an EQ maybe, take out some of the low end. I've also got a separate EQ, which is just the EQ8, which is taking out anything below 100 Hertz. The reason for this is because of the second part of the bass. So we've always got this. Just add a little bit of reverb on. Yeah, I think I prefer that. So yeah, let's use that. We've got a decay of 2.126 seconds and a really low mix of just 11.65%. This helps give it that little bit of tail. What we're going to do is add a sub. So yeah, the reason I've got this EQ is because we're adding a sub layer. So yeah, we've got this really nice deep sub. So yeah, what we're going to do to make this obviously is from that same pack, Vital Speed Garage Volume 1. So yeah, initialize preset, and we can literally just go factory, basic shapes, and go for saw. Run that through a filter, but first let's pitch it down. We can either go 24, or we can go 36. It's kind of up to you how deep you want to go with it. Go 24, and then cut all this out. Oh, make sure that's on filter 2. Nice, or we can go 36. Could even go both, so if we run that down minus 24, we're kind of covering both bases. We bring that down a little bit, 36, because it sort of struggles at the really low levels. That really bottom note sort of struggles a bit, so that's why it's good to have this minus 24. Cool, and let's hear that with the rest. We then have this last sort of garage warp. So that's really nice. Have a look at this. So yeah, as you guess, it's from that same pack and is Warp FM Warp, it's called. Really fucking nice. I think I prefer this one over the one I made in Serum. Let's have a look at how this was made. So rather than doing it all from scratch, we'll just run through it. Favorites, basic shapes, and we've got this sine wave I was talking about earlier. And we've got minus 24, and then this is just on 0. We then come over to this section and we've selected the FM from oscillator 2. We've brought down the volume. So as you can see, this volume is all the way down. When you're using FM synthesis, the oscillator that you're FMing from needs to have no volume because it sort of does it behind the sort of back. If you turn it up, it's going to cause sort of like weird phasing issues. So yeah, the volume needs to be down, and then this uses FM synthesis or FM modulation, sorry, from this like silent waveform, but it also uses this. So yeah, if you go to LFO, you can go 1, 2, whatever, doesn't matter. You sort of draw in this sort of shape and come over to the tempo, put it 1 to 1. So yeah, drag that over onto this FM and then drag that right down. So I can see as this climbs, this is also climbing. So let's maybe adjust that a little bit more. So yeah, if you want to make this quicker, you could change the rate. So let's have like dubsteps made. So yeah, let's bring that down to 1 to 1. What we can also do is add some reverb. Got this reverb here. We've got the mix at 25% and 3 seconds of time, which is quite a lot. So lastly, we can go to this filter, turn it on, and we can use the same LFO to control that. So if we drag that onto the filter cutoff, creating sort of like more of a warpy effect with this resonance. So to get that, you'll sort of drag up this. To bring that up. down. We bring up the drive. Just hear it. It's always good to obviously listen to the track. Keep the tone off this filter. Slow it down a bit. Go in. Maybe even try bringing it forward. Maybe go less. Look, you can just adjust it so many different ways. It's going to change the sound completely. I think that's probably the best if you bring it forward to here. So yeah, we've got 0.248 on the FM amount, and then we obviously brought that below, also before the middle line. Or if you want a longer note, then obviously you'd have to come here and make that sort of MIDI note longer. And in terms of the MIDI, it's just G sharp 2. Great guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and learnt something from that video. I will see you next week. Cheers.